Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing a 1957 horror film, The Incredible Shrinking Man, starring Grant Williams. Of course, this film comes at a time when most horror slash sci-fi movies is doing either a giant monster movie or a giant animal going to the outside attacking people and stuff, or a movie like The Incredible Shrinking Man, where you have a guy, just an average guy, who gets exposed to some radioactivity unintentionally, and he either grows to 20 billion feet high, or it shrinks to this size. And that's what The Incredible Shrinking Man is. And Grant Williams plays a regular ad executive. I mean, just a regular guy. And when he's on vacation with his wife, this strange fog comes in. When he's on a boat with his wife, and this fog comes in, it affects him, and all of a sudden, almost overnight, he starts to shrink. He eventually shrinks, and eventually for a while, he was the size of an average, 10-year-old boy, and then eventually he shrinks to the size of an insect. And that's pretty much how the movie goes, and how he's affected by it, how his relationship with his wife is affected, how he was mobbed by the press, which he was. He was mobbed by the press, hounded by everybody, and then he grows. He's about this tall. It was big enough to fit into a regular dollhouse. And one particular day, his wife goes out to run some errands or something, and the house cat attacks him. Goes after him when he's in this little dollhouse. So he gets out, and he ends up going into the basement, and the wife is looking for him, and the guy's brother looks for him, couldn't find him. Now, when they did, they couldn't find him in the house, and they thought that, and they assumed that the cat killed him, ate him. But of course, we know that didn't happen. So what they did was they first got rid of the cat, or they punished the cat, they put the cat down because they ate the guy. So they assumed that he was dead. So now for the rest of the second half of this movie, you see the guy trying to get out of the basement. Everybody probably trying to live. He was trying to live in the basement, and he figured, oh, his wife is eventually going to come down, and he will bring her attention. And meanwhile, she couldn't hear him. He was yelling, hey, I'm down here, here I am, and she just didn't hear him, and he tried to get out so many times, and there was a spider in the basement. The spider went after him, and he eventually kills the spider. And he had food, crumbs all around the basement that the spider saved up for itself. He was eating it, and then he was still trying to find a way to get out of the basement. And his wife leaves the house. She closes up the house and leaves with the guy's brother. The Shrinking Man's brother. They leave the house. They close up the house, and so he eventually, and the Incredible Shrinking Man, eventually gets out of the house. By himself, he looks how big the world is now compared to the size he is now, and the world is about a million times bigger than it was. And looks up at the sky like this, and he's narrating throughout the whole movie. At least throughout most of the second half of this film. And so it's him narrating to the audience, and that's the movie. Unfortunately, in a movie like this, usually either the person dies, the person who's affected, the radiation either dies by the end of this movie, or it goes crazy, so it's killing people, and he gets killed by the cops or whatever, or the army, or whatever. Or they find a cure for him, and he comes back to his normal size. Fortunately, it didn't happen at all in this movie, so that was kind of disappointing to me. But that's the movie. That's the way the movie that's where the cookie crumbles, I guess. But the movie didn't really have any real resolution, other than the fact that the guy got out of the basement at the end of the movie. Uh, but I thought it had an interesting premise, but the second half of the movie just fell flat because nothing happened to this guy. I mean, in terms of he didn't die at the end of the movie. He wasn't restored to his normal size. I'm not going to explain why he shrunk like that. I mean, kind of like ruins the premise of the movie. But what happened to him, there was no cure for it. For a while, he was stabilized. The doctor stabilized him for a while, but he didn't. He wasn't restored to normal height or to his normal height. And usually, in a movie like this, it usually happens at the end of the movie or the person dies. Didn't happen in this movie, so that was a huge disappointment. But as a movie itself, I thought it was an interesting premise until the second half of the film, from the point when the cat attacks him to the end of the film, I thought it was just disappointing to me. So that's my review of the movie, The Incredible Shrieking Man. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com. That's OWDY, and that's C.com. The homepage is Rowdy Reviewer, Christine Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.